almost live from the Herbert I. Greenberg Studios at WHIG. It's Up Late with Sam Bass.
Thank you, Scott Smith, and welcome to the show, I guess, maybe. The desk is different. Somebody got my desk. I got a pretty good idea who did it. So we're going to have to use the WHIG big old table, but we're going to roll with it. We're going to make it work, and we're going to find out who got my desk. I've got a good idea, so he better look out. I want to thank our presenting sponsor and former guest on this show, First Class Real Estate Triangle East. They're not just stars on the show, folks. They're stars in the real estate business. So look them up if you need a realtor. And if you get a chance, go to our YouTube channel and check and look for their episode with Brett and Tiffany Hill. Great episode. While you're at it, go in there and look up Benton Moss's episode. Benton is our other big sponsor from Metro Maintenance. Metro Maintenance does a great job here in town. And I want to tell you something. If you suffer from allergies, you might want to give them a call. Why, would you ask? You would think I would send you to a doctor, but I'm going to send you to Metro Maintenance instead. They have certain filters that help people with allergies. Who knew it? It's a little known fact. A lot of people don't know it. Sam to the rescue. Dr. Sam, that is, to you. You're welcome, folks. So in case you missed our special announcement on our social media pages, our special guest tonight is none other than Phil Sabella from Phil's Music Exchange. He's a great guy with a great story. We're really excited to have Phil on the show tonight. So there's a few other people that come to mind when I think about the name Phil. There's Dr. Phil McGraw. You know, I'm not a big Dr. Phil fan, I'll go ahead and say that, but I do like one of his quotes. No dog ever peed on a moving car. Okay? I'm not really sure what that means exactly, but it sounds like there's probably some truth to that. Another Phil Hartman from the old Saturday Night Live. You might remember him, rest in peace, super talented. He did the best Sinatra on there. And there's also some Phils from the music industry. Phil Collins, for example. He had lots of hits in the 80s, you know, but don't worry, I'm not going to sing Easy Lover for you tonight. That's for another night. And then there's Phil Spector, the legendary record producer. He's also known for some other things. I'm not talking just about his crazy hair, if you know what I mean. So speaking of killer music people, my top 5 list tonight is my personal list of the most killer albums on vinyl, okay? My personal list. So relax, Robbie. I'm not throwing anything big tonight. Well, maybe I am. So ladies and gentlemen, here it is. I give you my best list, my favorite top 5-ish vinyl albums. Here we go. Number 5. Here it is. Whipped Cream by Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. It's the only album that makes you ask, should I listen to it or put it on a pie? And just look at this cover. Every red-blooded male that I knew back in the day wanted this album, not just for the great track, okay? Am I right? Yes, I'm right. So put on your hard hats. I think I knocked somebody down over there with that. Sorry about that, Robbie. All right, number 4. Coming in at a hot number 4. Right here. Sinatra's Sinatra. Okay, that's right. This is not your mama Sinatra. This is not your daddy Sinatra. This is Sinatra's Sinatra. Okay? I picked this album up in Phil's store, and I know 3 or 4 times, and I finally pulled the trigger. If you look up here, it says sealed. This album was sealed, folks. So once I dropped the needle on this album, it was like sipping bourbon with old Blue Eyes himself. What a great album. Missed. Number 3. If you're a child of the 70s like me, Machine Head by Deep Purple was the album in the early 70s. The perfect album to either rock out to or feel like you're cruising around in your Trans Am. This album could be the soundtrack to every high-speed chase scene that includes bell-bottoms and questionable mustaches. Such great tracks here: Smoke on the Water, Highway Star. This was the album back in the day. Sorry, Robbie. Robbie's gonna fire me tonight. Number 2, Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. Here's a fun fact. If you play it backwards, it whispers, Alexa and Siri are spying on you. I'm kidding. Or am I? Possibly. Give it a spin backwards and find out. Another cool fact about this album is it plays in sync with the movie The Wizard of Oz. If you've never heard of this, you drop the needle on the second roar of the MGM line and it will play in sync with the movie. You don't believe me? Try it or Google it. I think I got Jamie on that one. Okay, drum roll. The pinnacle, the creme de la creme. Number 1 in the charts, in my list that is. The best vinyl album is, wait for it, Asia by Steely Dan. It's impossible not to love this album. So light that cigar, pour that bourbon, and let this music transport you back to a swanky 70s lounge. Or maybe the Sam Shack in Wilson. But that's not all, folks. I couldn't stop at 5. I do have a bonus track here. Let me gently sit this one down. I don't want anybody to get hurt. So, Abbey Road by the Beatles. Because there's no such thing as a top 5 without the Fab Four. It's just impossible. But if you remember, I actually photobombed them crossing the zebra crossing over in Liverpool at the Apple Studios wearing my elf suit. Remember that? But right there with John, Paul, George, and Ringo, Sam the Elf at the charge. Okay, now, with that all being said, I do have some honorable mentions. So I told you it was hard. Honorable mentions. I'm telling you, the top 5 on this is hard. I might have to take a vacation after this one. Honorable mention number 1, All the Young Dudes by Mott the Hoople. I'm not exactly sure what the Hoople is, but if Dr. Seuss were to form a band, I'm pretty sure he'd have a name something like that. Great album though. I love this in the early 70s. I wore it out. As you can say, better cover it. It's torn up. All right. Another honorable mention for you. Love It to Death by Alice Cooper. This is back when Alice Cooper was a group. They were not a guy. And it was a hard choice between this and Killer. Both of those early albums great, but I'm going with this one. Kind of goes with the old garage band style. This is a great album. If you've never heard it, get it, go to Phil's and get it and listen to it. And that's it. Maybe, no, that's enough. I've got more, but I'm not going to go anymore. We don't have all night. So that's my top 5. I might ask Phil what his top 5 is. So sit tight. We'll be right back with Phil Sabella of Phil's Music Exchange.
First Class Real Estate Triangle East. When buying or selling a property, think of us first. Metro Maintenance has provided fast, reliable services in Nash, Edgecombe, and Halifax counties for over 35 years. Metro Maintenance offers services for residential, commercial, and institutional facilities. These services include heating and cooling, electrical, plumbing, and general repairs. Our numerous years of experience, knowledge, and resources help us to accomplish our mission of serving our customers with superior service achieved through integrity and hard work. All of our work is guaranteed. For service, call 252-977-2730 or find us on the web at metro-maintenance.com.
Welcome back. As promised, I'm sitting here with my good friend Phil Sabella of Phil's Music Exchange of Wilson and Rocky Mount. Welcome to the show, Phil.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I hesitate to say my show because it looks so different than what we normally have, but there's been some shenanigans that have taken place.
Gotcha.
So, it kind of looks like a bar, so I kind of like it.
Yeah, it does.
So, We'll roll with it, okay? So you heard me say my top albums. I'm not going to hold you to like a top 5 or 7 or 8 or whatever I did.
Right.
Can you give me 1 or 2? I'm 70s generation, you're more 80s. So what are a couple albums that really stand out in your mind from that period of time?
So for me, when Hagar came into Van Halen, that was a big deal for me. So, 5150, OU 812, Dreams, I've often said, is in my top 5 songs of all time.
Okay.
So
I can go with that.
Definitely there. Man, there's so many. So many that made it. Bonham, The Disregard of Timekeeping, it's a fantastic album to me. There's just so many.
If you go to his store, he's got Phil's, what do you call it, Phil's Picks?
Phil's Finds.
Phil's
The
Finds.
harder to find stuff in the store,
And some of the stuff I've never heard of. I call myself a music person until I look in there and I go, what is that? But anyway, we're going to get back to that. So Sabella isn't a good old-fashioned Southern name.
No.
So kind of give me an idea, where are you from originally and that kind of thing?
So, I'm from Long Island, New York. We moved, in 1985, we moved to Laurinburg, North Carolina, which was a big change for me.
Right.
And then in 1988, we moved to Wilson and been there ever since.
Okay.
So
I know a little bit about your history, and we'll get to all that and talking about your story here later. But you told me you spent a lot of time going to concerts and things like that when you were in high school. So did that experience instill your love in music even more?
Yeah, absolutely. My first show was the Dean Smith Center. It was Bon Jovi on the New Jersey tour with Skid Row opening up, and that totally just opened my world to live music. But I've been a fan, just as a kid, a little kid, always just music tuned into whatever the pop of the day was in the 80s. So yeah.
Right. Was there was that concert like the biggest impact on you, or was there anything else that you saw that was a huge impact?
It was a big impact being my first one.
Yeah.
But actually, one of the bigger impacts for me, as I'm an 80s kid, so I was, deep into the 80s glam metal scene and all of that. There was a club in Raleigh called The Switch, and it was there from like the late 70s to early 90s. And when I saw my first club show there, which was a band called Danger Danger, I don't know if you remember them, and that really impressed me. To have that kind of intimate setting, it was just such a fun time. So,
Well, the small shows are always good. I saw Dweezil Zappa at the Lincoln Theater.
Yeah.
Playing all the old Frank Zappa stuff, which is a great show.
Yeah.
So we got a picture here of you with the band Firehouse.
With the singer.
So they were known as a hair band back in the day. And so you had the long hair and everything, right?
Not so much. A little bit. I was a little more shaggy, a little more long hair compared to now.
That when we all had hair, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's me with the Moo shirt on, and that was at the Fayetteville Civic Center. I think they were doing a co-headlining tour with Tesla. I saw Firehouse many times over the years.
But you may not know this about me. I played bass in the original Firehouse.
The original Firehouse.
Before that Firehouse came along.
Okay.
Fortunately, if the one that gets signed with the record deal, the other one loses the name.
There you go. That's what happens.
We didn't stick around that long. But I heard a rumor you played bass. I was a bass player.
I did.
Did you? I'm really biased toward bass players. We're kind of unappreciated. So, did you play in a band or?
I did. I played in several bands throughout the years. Some metal bands. Then played with a Christian rock band out of Rocky Mount here. It was called Puddle Glum, and pretty big in the area. And played with them for about a year. They actually went on to get signed after I left, but I try and tell myself that's not the reason.
Keep telling yourself that, Phil. So I guess you didn't go too crazy back in your band days because you are married.
I am.
You got married.
Yeah.
So how did you and your wife meet? Was she a groupie by chance?
No, not at all. We actually met. It's kind of funny. I worked, my first job was at Burger King in Wilson. I was started on my 14th birthday, and she worked at Eckerd's across the street and just came over one day. And what was funny was that guy in the picture with me and CJ Snare, we worked there together, very close friend in high school. And when Jenny came into the store, to the restaurant, and I just waited on her, gave her her food, and turned around and said to him, "Wouldn't it be funny if that's the girl I end up marrying?"
Wow.
So it's kind of funny.
That is very cool.
Thank you.
So let's go back. We're going to talk about
All right.
when you started Phil's Music Exchange in a flea market in Wilson.
Yeah,
Tell me a little bit about that.
The Nichols Big Flea. Nichols was a department store in Wilson, and when they closed, it converted into a flea market. So yeah, that's what I did. I opened a Phil's Music Exchange there, and it was 95, maybe a few months after we got married, and it did really well. But I was 20 years old and young and dumb and had no idea what I was doing. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. So that's kind of the origins of it.
So it's grown over the years. Now your location now is you have 2 locations.
Yeah, we have our primary brick and mortar in Wilson, in historic downtown Wilson, and then we have a satellite location here in Rocky Mount inside the Small Shops Mall.
Right. Yeah, I'm in Phil's all the time. So if you go to Phil's, you're going to probably see me in there. Me and Russ Farnell hanging out. So your place in Rocky Mount, does one of your sons run that? I know your one son I see all the time.
Yeah.
Is with you in Wilson.
Right, my son Philip works for us full time, and we work in Wilson together. My older son, Zach, he is an assistant manager at Piggly Wiggly in Wilson.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, he definitely helps out as we need here
Okay.
and there, but he's not part of the business quite like that. The one in Rocky Mount is primarily, you know, I tell people this about Small Shops. It's a great place. I tell them it's not an antique mall, but it's that same business model kind of.
Yeah.
You know, you come in, you go to all the different shops, pick out what you need, and check out at the
neat
main
place.
restaurant front. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But no, it's not manned by us. The Small Shops staff takes care of that stuff.
Okay. So what is the oldest media format you have in your store? I know there's 8 tracks in there because I looked through them. I actually have an 8-track player, folks, believe it or not. But I know there's VHS tapes as well.
Yep.
Is there anything further back that I'm not thinking about?
Reel tapes, reel to reels.
Oh,
we have
okay.
several reel to reels. I think right now we have Chicago, Three Dog Night, and a couple artists like that. So pretty cool.
I remember my dad had a reel-to-reel player back in the day.
Yeah.
So is there things that people come in there are just absolutely too hard to find? What would an example of that be?
Oh man. Some people come in and I couldn't come up with something off the top of my head, honestly, but
Yeah.
they do come in and ask for some stuff that I've never seen.
Right.
I've never ever seen.
If you've never seen it, it probably doesn't exist.
Wow. But we do get asked, we do get some interesting requests sometimes. Nothing's coming to mind at the moment, but yeah.
So we've talked about your career and how it's built into what it is now. So when you take a day off, what does that look like? What do you do?
People come to me and they're like, "Oh, you're off on Sundays and Mondays." I'm like, "No, we're closed. I'm not off." You know, we really just really don't take time off. With the stage of business where we're in now, you know, we're very much still pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps, and so we're just constantly rolling. When I'm at home, I'm pricing merchandise. I'm doing online sales. It's always rolling.
So if you got old albums, folks, I'm going to tell you, take them to them because I got an amazing credit on some stuff.
Well, thank you.
It's a lot more than I thought it would be. And then I turn right around and spin it. So, I mean, you know, that's how it goes. So I was talking to you sometime earlier. And you shared a personal thing about yourself with me. And I want you to tell everybody a condition you have and how it affects you growing up and kind of the story behind it.
Sure. So I have Tourette syndrome. I was diagnosed 5 or 6 years old. And, you know, it was tough. What was tough about it was my parents never told me what I had. You know, you gotta understand, back then when I was diagnosed, there was no information. There was nothing, you know. So the doctors, from what I had been told, the doctors pretty much said, you know, he may never leave home, he may never drive, he may stop walking. It was really a hard thing for my parents, and they didn't want me to use it as a crutch. And so the best thing they knew to do at that time was just not to tell me. And it was really hard because I saw I had these tics going on. I knew everyone else saw it, but I didn't know what was happening. So yeah.
So you told me also you had treated it with natural medication at one time.
Yeah. So my Tourette had gotten so bad. I was working through the Department of Neurology and UNC forever. And it eventually had gotten so bad, they actually wanted to send me to the Mayo Clinic. They didn't know what to do. It was so bad. And then I started utilizing natural medicine through a natural doctor in Wilson. And it's been a pretty amazing journey. So
Look at him now. I mean, you're doing great.
Well, thank you. I mean, simple things like dietary changes that people don't realize made such a big difference, you know, in people with neurological disorders.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then there was also practitioner grade supplements and all of that help heal the body from the inside out. It took a long time, but finally got to the place where I was having a life I never had before.
So one of the other things you had told me in our earlier conversation was that you had become a nurse. So did your health issues lead you to that? Yeah,
well, yes. I wanted to be that healing hand and that loving touch to others, like people were to me when I was really, really sick. And so, yeah, so as I started to get better, it was suggested to me to go to nursing school, and so I did. Be honest, Shannon, at that point, I mean, I hadn't done much of anything for 18 years. It was a very interesting experience, but I walked out of nursing school a much different person than I walked in.
That's very cool.
Thank you.
Now, you did tell me that you had a very bad experience with COVID.
I did.
And you're lucky to be sitting here right now.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about it.
So I was tested positive for COVID in May of 21, and you know, it was terrible. It felt horrible. I remember telling my wife it felt like something was messing with my emotions. It was really weird.
Wow.
But you know, around day 7 or so, I started to feel a little better, and I thought, awesome, a few more days, back at work, out of quarantine, we're good. And that night, double pneumonia set in. My wife said that I was incoherent, spitting out blood, oxygen level was dropping.
Wow.
And so she called an ambulance to pick me up. And when they came, I looked at her and I said, my life insurance policy is on the dresser. And she said, I'm not going to need it. So I don't know the timeline. For the rest of my life, I'll be kind of fuzzy with some of this, but I was in Wilson for a day or two, I guess, and then the decision was made. They put me on a vent and they airlifted me to UNC.
To survive that is just amazing, because
Very
you heard
thankful.
when all that was going on, once you get on the ventilator, that's a hard comeback.
It is. And I, from what I read, I did fairly well, but then there was a couple of days I spiked a fever and started to decline. But you know, praise God, I rebounded. I remember they were lessening the sedation. I remember feeling them take it out.
Yeah.
It was an interesting thing. Yeah.
Wow. That is awesome.
Well, thank you.
So I found a quote on your website. This is a short version anyway, okay?
Sure.
I love what I do, and I'm honored to be able to do it. I feel like a year-round Santa Claus. This world needs more joy.
Absolutely.
So tell me the truth. Are you really Santa Claus?
No. I hate to break the news.
I am so
No.
disappointed.
I know.
I
I
thought
hate
you
to
were the
do
guy
that.
the whole time here. But you know, when I go to Phil's store, I feel like I'm at the North Pole, and it is so awesome because I'm telling you folks, you got to go. He's got music playing outside. It is
you.
just such a great environment when I walk in there.
Thank you. That was one of the things we wanted to do at the store. You know, there's a lot of record stores around that are great, and some of them you'll walk in and it's dark and dingy, and I don't know if that's intentional or not, but we wanted a store that was bright and inviting. When you walk in, your spirit jumps in a good way, an excited way, and that's what we wanted to build. As far as the year-long Santa Claus, you know, it's really cool. We ship year-round. Worldwide, and so it's great to get emails and messages. Hey, thank you so much. I'm loving it. I come home and I get to spin this record or watch this movie or play this game, and it helps me relax. And it's a great thing.
Well, I was talking about the Sinatra album. I picked up that album several times.
Yeah.
A sealed Sinatra, Sinatra's Sinatra, and to drop the needle on that album was such a great experience. I mean, I had a cigar in one hand and bourbon in the other.
True
But it's
virgin vinyl.
just a great experience.
Yeah.
And if you're not into vinyl, people, get into it. Okay, I'm just saying that's an awesome. I love it.
Absolutely.
And this is the place to go to Phil's place.
Well, thank you. And you know, we sell all the formats. We sell vinyl, we sell CDs, we sell cassettes, we sell all of it.
You got games too, right?
We have games, every movie format from Betamax to
DVDs.
Blu-ray, all of that, yeah. My son made a point, someone was talking to us in the store one day about the different formats, and my son was like, you know, if you're gonna put on a CD, he's like, Dad, you put on the CD, you crank it up, and you're gonna clean the house or whatever and just let it roll. When you put on a record, you're sitting down, you're absorbing it in a different way, both viable, just different experiences.
Yeah, I love it because I do it all the time, and,
Yeah.
and I know our our main man down here at WHIG, Robbie, is a big vinyl guy.
Awesome.
And he's got some albums he showed me a couple weeks ago, and I was blown away by what he had. So, so he had some real collectible stuff.
Very cool.
But listen, I want to take the minute to thank you for coming on
Thank
here.
you for having me.
This has been great. You're a great guy.
Thank you.
I enjoy going to your store, and I will tell people, please go visit Phil, because if you like vinyl, he's your guy.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so
Sam.
much, Phil.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for
It means a
coming
lot.
on.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
We'll be right back. Hey, I want to thank my special guest tonight, Phil Sabella of Phil's Music Exchange of Wilson and the small shops here in Rocky Mount. I want to move forward and talk about our Maggie Society Dog of the Week. Talk about a movie star. Movie star material, folks. Caspar loves to run and play, and he would make a great running companion for someone looking to partner. So contact the Maggie Society and get hold of Caspar. He'd make a great pet. Hey, listen, thanks for watching. Every Thursday night at 10, right here, as another host called at one time, WHIG, the Superstation. We're just like WTBS. Used to be. Just kidding. Tune in. Up Late with Sam Bass. See you soon.